What's up, guys? It's your girl D from the Voices Gathering Live podcast show. Hello, 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 hello. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? I am here and I want to have a chat. As always, I want to sit and have a conversation with you guys. I am very concerned with this state of emergency we're currently living in. As you can see from the intro, it said global crisis, right? And when you look at the definition I put into this show today, you'll see what the definition of global crisis mean, right? So I wanted to just take a minute to talk to you about my opinions. These are solely my opinions about what I'm seeing, what I'm witnessing, how I feel as a living body in this big old space called the planet, right? I want to talk from a personal position of what I'm feeling. Maybe you can relate, maybe you can't relate, and if you can't relate, tell me how you can move about this space as I see it with the title Global Crisis. So global crisis, when you think about it, they said that it's in the context of when the planet at one simultaneously time is experiencing some kind of financial crisis. That is what the definition for a global crisis is. Pandemic, right? So I wanted to just talk for a second because although they're saying it from a financial position, everything seems to start with money. If you don't have it, you are impacted. If you don't have it, you're impacted. If you don't believe me, just look around at the number of homeless people right now in the state of America. Just look at the homeless number as it relates to the population and see how we are truly impacted by the financial crisis. Now, I am not going to sit here and try to have this conversation with you on the global crisis as it relates to numbers and figures, right? That's why I started off by saying this is my personal opinion. These are my personal views. I am talking to you solely not as a professional in the banking system, on Wall Street, moving numbers and things like that. I am definitely not here to talk about that. I am solely here to talk about as an individual who is trying to make sure I keep my head above water and looking around and seeing so many other people who don't even have what I have. And let's be clear, I do not have much. Thank God I have what I have. And to a homeless person, I am rich. Because if you have $10 more than a homeless person have, you got it going on, right? So I'm just using all these metaphors because I know people will look at this show and say, okay, maybe you'll say this. How is she talking about the global crisis as it relates to the financial position? I'm not just talking about that. I'm truly not just talking about that. I am truly talking about as an individual who pay taxes, and I live in the state of New Jersey. And I have to tell you, the taxes in the state of New Jersey are through the roof. People are packing up their things and moving out of state because New Jersey is one of the highest, I think it's one of three highest states on the East Coast, if I'm not mistaken. You cannot afford to really live here. That's not to say in other states that it's easier to live, because homeless is homeless, right? A financial strain is a financial strain. But I want us to think more on a macro level when it comes to this situation, i.e. the global crisis, the global situation. Gas is going up, and all of these is pointed to the finger of COVID-19. Right, okay. Maybe so. COVID has a lot to do with what's going on, but this was happening before COVID hit us. People were struggling to pay their bills. Now you have people who have, like many of us, been impacted by COVID-19, couldn't work, and now they're facing eviction or have been evicted. Not just one person, not an adult, but a family with children are truly on their last leg. You have people who are on public assistance and they get food stamps, right? I have met people who get $50 in food stamps. $50 in food stamps. How do you care for yourself? Forget a family, because I'm sure not a family's getting $50, but how could you care for yourself with $50 and eat healthy, which if you don't eat healthy, that leads into another financial situation, because now you don't have health insurance. You got to figure out how to get to a hospital or get proper health care. It's a domino effect. It is truly a domino effect. We don't get it. And I'm talking about we, meaning the people in power. Because I truly, here goes the naive me, right? The one who doesn't really know how this system really moves and works. Just know that I'm a part of it and I feel very much impacted by it, right? You when you're young, I remember as a child, I thought like a child, and that was, oh, just make more money. Just make more money. And of course, you grow up and you learn. You learn. That's not how this system works, right? So, okay, now I'm an adult and I'm looking at it from a different lens. And I'm saying, okay, where where have we turned the corner wrong? Where have we turned this corner in the wrong direction? And when we turned it, how were we okay with leaving so many people behind and not help them? And I know people who are going to look at the show is going to say, well, listen, they made public assistance and people want to live on public assistance. But let's be clear, there's a lot of people who do not want to live on public assistance. There's a lot of people who do not want to be told what to do, how to do it, what time to move and not to move. People want to be in control of their own destiny, their own life. And sometimes they need a help to be able to get into that position. But right at this moment, we are really struggling. Global warming. Now, they've been talking that for a long time. Again, not really knowledgeable about it at that time. Definitely now know much more about it. So now we're in this phase with global warming, which bring about more financial strain. We're dealing with this whole thing with COVID, and COVID brings on this financial strain. We bring on this level of literacy for a lot of people who can't get proper jobs. That brings on more financial strain. I mean, there's so many layers to this situation. And then you have these people who sit in positions fighting each other, the Republicans and the Democrats and those in the middle, fighting against what is right and what's wrong. You got people being disempowered when they want to make a decision for their children about returning in school or actually being homeschooled due to the pandemic. You got that going on. We are in more than a financial crisis. We are in really, really, really challenging times. And if you believe anything about what the Bible says, or the Quran, or any other spiritual teachings, you will probably find, as I have been taught, that these are clearly signs of the time. It's clearly that. I don't understand what people don't get. It's almost like they're saying, if it doesn't knock at my door, then it doesn't impact me. If my children are impacted, if my family is impacted, then that's you guys over there. This is not me, and you guys need to do something to fix your situation. But yet, those people in power want to disempower people by, controlling how we vote. See, this is, for me, it's all part of the global crisis, not just the financial situation. Let's look over in Texas. Texas has tried to put in place this thing telling people what they can and cannot do with their bodies, i.e., abortions. If this is not the clock turning backwards, how is that possible? Now, I understand there's people who are saying, thinking, feeling that I should be able to do what I want to do with my body. And there's other people saying, well, wait a minute, you are killing someone, or a living life. I don't want to talk about is abortion right or wrong. What I want to talk about, or at least point out, is who has the right to make that decision. If a person's breaking any spiritual law or requirement by their higher power, well, they'll stand and deal with that on Judgment Day, right? But who are we to impede on someone making a decision for them? I am I am concerned. I am confused. I would love for someone who is really smart and knowledgeable about the financial um, position we're in right now to reach out to me, actually drop me a hello, and come on my little show over here and have a conversation. Teach us who are not that knowledgeable, but definitely are feeling the impact of what is happening on the financial dollar position. And then I would like someone to also talk to us about what is it that we are doing wrong when it comes to how we are voting systems into place. Because truth be told, I'm meeting people day in, day out in the work I do, and these people are struggling. And then they struggle to the point that they can't think, and then you cape that with emotional stress, anxiety, and all these other things. It just becomes a rolling snowball into this big giant mountain, and it's scary. It is absolutely scary. And I wonder, what can we do to change the trajectory about what this will look like for children to come behind us? How are seniors going to stay in homes? How are young people getting a real education? I talking about the dollar figure, and also talking about this whole thing with it comes to schooling. So, part of my homework assignment was to write down a couple of things, right? When it relates to these biopsychosocial, and how I see some of these things being impacting my life, or individual lives, and so forth and so on. And there's so many different layers of that. But in my write-up, I wrote that the college institution is a money-making machine. It's a money-making machine. Yeah, you get this piece of paper that says that you have reached this plateau of getting a certain kind of education. I don't know if you get that great of an experience in the education you're getting, i.e., meaning if you're going in to be, kind of correcting myself, because if you're going to be a doctor, you got to go through the process of getting clinicals, and if you're going to be a clinical counselor, then you have to get in the experience of doing clinical work. And I mean, that's the field I work in. But I mean, just the true experience and the support and the guidance through that. It seems like it's all about how much money the systems, these institutions can collect from you. Doesn't matter if you're in debt trying to obtain a piece of paper, and you may already come in with the experience, but this is nope, you got to go through all of this just to get this piece of paper so that you can now say, you know what? I got it and I can do this. I don't know. I truly don't know. But what I do know for sure is that we have to do something different. There has to be a different way that we do things. And we have to have people in position to talk to us, those who do not fully understand, in a way that it makes sense. And we also have to not wait till it becomes a point of voting in a president, but we need to start at our municipalities, and I think I pronounced that wrong, areas, in the MISO. That's more in a small group, on the not on the macro big part, because when we start looking at that, then we already kind of lost the fight, because it's not just with the president who gets into the White House and what they're going to do, because they need all these other people. We need our city governors and mayors and all those individuals to make good decisions for us as residents of those of that state, of those towns, cities, to make good decisions for us, so that by the time it gets to the White House, we kind of got a little bit more of a better chance. And that comes with fighting homelessness, fighting domestic violence, fighting poverty on many levels, fighting a financial crisis. I'm talking about there has to be a conversation, and you have to speak the language people can understand. You cannot wait to talk. Well, you can't talk the language, right, when you're trying to get into the position, and then when you get into the position, your whole language changes, and people are saying, well, what are you talking about? I am frustrated and concerned, and I feel like the people in positions aren't doing enough, and the people who have the power to vote aren't voting for the majority. They're voting for selfish reason. And I understand that you have to put your mask on first. But if you put your mask on first and it kills everything else around you, then what is the good of your mask? What is the sense of putting on a mask when there's nothing around you that you can use it for? We have to remember that we are more connected than we're separated. And I don't care what age, sex, religion you are, we are more connected than divided. But people seem to departmentalize this and says, oh, well, this doesn't impact me and I can pay my bills and yada, yada, yada. And you must be walking with jaded glasses on, because how can you ignore the homelessness going on, or the abuse, or the drug addiction and all? How could you ignore that? I happened to go into Philly, and again, homeless is all over the place. But my goodness, I don't see it where I live, and I don't live in Philly, but every step you take, there were homeless people laying on this. They were everywhere, everywhere. Philadelphia has a big homeless population there. It's huge. There's no way I could not notice it. And I could not be impacted by that, because here I am out getting ready to have an early dinner, and thank God, was able to afford that. But I'm looking at people who can't. I don't know. What I do know is that I want to, I want someone who is smart, who can speak the language, articulate it in a way that you can talk to the viewers and myself, and help us to take one step and process that, and take the next step and process that. Because if we don't do something, if this bend doesn't straighten out, the situations that I have been just pointing out, taking away people's rights and people being homeless and addiction and mental health and all these things, is just going to get greater and greater and greater, and it out of control. It's already out of control. I see you, iRob. So iRob says COVID amplified it. Yeah, I absolutely agreed. And I would tell you that COVID amplified it, but it was already out of control. And listen, COVID now, the next variant is here, and it's impacting us even more. So that means the situation prior to COVID was bad. It's gotten worse now that COVID's happened. And we are not going back to pre-March 2020. We're going forward, and we don't know what forward looks like. So how do we get a handle on the crisis we're living in globally? Other people, oh my goodness. I am, as I talk to you guys, I am truly, truly thinking. Did you did you see the um I think it was the Mexican immigrants who were trying to gain access here. And I think they were coming in by way of Texas. Anybody watching this show, I'm so open for you just putting down and being a help and putting something there if it's something I miss, but or I'm misstating. But trying to gain access here and residency because it's so bad there. However, as a person living here in the States, it's bad here as well. And there's so many crises going on here that when we welcome them in, because I believe that everyone deserves a chance, but how can we help them when we can't even help the people that's already here? And you can't tell me that we're helping people when people are being evicted because COVID impacted them and they had to choose either eat or pay rent. You can't tell me that you can't tell me we're helping people. I talked to a family member of mine yesterday, and she was like, she still hasn't gotten her income taxes. And then she says there was a great number of people who still haven't gotten their income taxes. And here we are about to bank on a next realm of income tax payout. I don't know. But what I do know is that we have to do something different. We have to get motivated. And I mean collectively, not individually. Well, it doesn't impact my state. It doesn't impact my neighborhood. It doesn't impact my children. No, we really need to be my brother's keeper when it comes to this. Because if we don't, we are in. You thought that we were in a bad position. We are really in a bad position. We're going to be worse. I don't see it getting better. Now, I have hope and faith that something will turn for the better, but we need a drastic change for the better. We don't need these little plugs to plug in situations and holes just so that you would appease people and 1 minute things calm down and the next minute you're shaking up the globe and the snow is all over the place again and here we are again. No, we need some policies and procedures in place so that we can start helping our brothers and sisters and be responsible for our neighbors, not just what's happening in our own little world. We got to do something different. And that difference starts with me and starts with you. So one thing I want to do is I want to get in, if you know anyone who is looking, you have to be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. But I want to know if you know of someone who is willing to sit down and put together a small group of people to have a conversation where we can start, or invite me to say, hey, listen, Diamond, we invite you to come and sit at our table and be a part of the discussion, even ask some questions so that I can learn how I play my role in this situation and do something different. Because the little that I am doing, and it's a little, because it takes a collective of people, right? It doesn't just take one person. It takes a collection of people to make a difference. So one person can't do it by themselves, i.e., 10 people can't do it by themselves when there's 200 people that can be an aid to them, right? We all have to figure out how to get on one accord for the big overall answer to our problem. And stop putting it in the hands of Biden and the president and these government officials, because some of them Not all have their own hidden agenda, more than a little. So we have to figure out what to do different. We have to figure out what to do different. We need to figure out how to help each other. And, on a small scale, my neighborhood, your neighborhood, people like to close their door, don't bother me. How do you live in a world like that? You just cannot live in a world like that. You can't. There's just no way you can live in a world like that. That I'm gonna just turn this off, it doesn't bother me. It does. My taxes go up, your taxes go up. If there's 3 homeless people rummaging through my garbage in my neighborhood or breaking into my car in my neighborhood, but for the grace of God, it may be your neighborhood. I mean, your garbage can and your car they're breaking into. It's not an individual situation. This is a global crisis. It is a global pandemic. It is a global situation. It's not just happening to the poor. Everybody is impacted to some degree. I thought that I would just would bring that up, just have that conversation with you, speak honest and transparent about what I was feeling. I told you today, this was my personal observation. I am not speaking for the masses. I'm not saying that I am politically correct. Nope. I'm telling you that as a taxpayer living here in the state of New Jersey, that is where this show is. I'm letting you know that I have been seeing things that bother me, and I want to be part of the change and not part of the problem. And I know that situation doesn't start in the White House. It starts in my home, and then from my home, it starts within my community, i.e. with my neighbors and stuff like that. And then from that, it starts to the next neighborhood, and it goes on and on and on. And I truly believe that we need to get people to start getting involved in the conversation and figuring out how can you be part of the answer and the solution and not part of the problem. I think we need to understand to stop pointing the finger at other people and look at ourselves and says, what have we contributed to this global crisis? I believe that people need to wake up and start seeing it for what it is and not what you wish it looked like, right? I need people who are coming into position to be about change and not about problems, right? I need people who are in position from the entertainment realm of this, right? I seen people who say they were Black, Hispanic, the minorities struggling to put food on the table, and now you see them on social media diamond up from their wrists all the way up their arms, right? That's not to say, because I don't know what they contribute on the back end, but I'm letting you know the message you send to people who are watching and looking at you when we're going through this global crisis is that you're more about the fashion sense of it instead of about problem solution. I need people to wake up and pay attention to what's happening to us and around us and be part of the resolution to these situations. Real talk. Real talk. Real talk. If you not feeding the homeless, if you not trying to figure out why there's so many homeless people in your neighborhood, if you are not going to any kind of town hall meetings or Googling how you can, i.e., give something to this situation that would address the problem, then you're part of the problem. Me too. I am part of the problem. We have to get involved. You can't look and say, oh, they'll figure it out. Who is they? Who is they? I want to go back a little bit quickly about when I talked about the people that's on like social media, the entertainers, these people who we actually support their product, whether it's music, fashion, or whatever it is, and they live nice. And no, that's not to say they don't have problems. Everyone, as long as you got breath on this side of life, you got problems. It may not be the same problem that someone is experiencing, but you have had some form of problem. You cannot survive living without experiencing some kind of problem. But I would tell you that we need to be cognizant of what image we put out in the world. Because when I'm talking about global crisis, and then I turn on some form of television, and I'm seeing people, especially minority people, looking bling, 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 and wearing, whatever. And that's your right. I'm not saying don't wear that, but I'm saying, why do I see more of that than more of, why aren't you at some kind of conference talking about how to improve the neighborhood you came from and the neighborhood you're in? Right? You can't move forward unless you're moving back and pulling people with you. This is not an individual space we live in, guys. It's a planet. It's called planet Earth. It is called We Are My Brother's Keeper. And people who are able to turn that off, I don't know how. Now, I just thought of something else, so I might as well put this out there, right? So I don't want anyone watching my show today to feel that I am judging you. I'm not. I speak with passion. I speak with conviction. I speak with transparency, and that comes with fire. So don't take it personal. If you know that you're getting involved and you know you're doing your very best to change your neighborhood and your community, and so that not only you can experience difference, but those around you can be impacted by that change, they're awesome. Great. I am cheering you. And I actually challenge you to put in the comments how you are contributing to your community, your environment, and what it is that you're looking for that will bring about change. I challenge you. I'm trying to get you guys involved in the conversation anyway. So there goes the challenge. Drop your comments here and tell us all, those who are going to read this, how are you contributing to the answers we need? Are you contributing to the problem or the answer? I welcome it. I truly, truly welcome it. I was at my church yesterday. Yes, I was at my church yesterday for a meeting. And my pastor, who is such a great pastor, I mean, I really have a really good pastor. And I hope you guys too, who really care about the people and care about educating them. So he just reminded us, listen, if you can have some money on hand, have money on hand. And he's not said that, this is not the first time he said it, right? Have money on hand. You got to make some changes. You got to put yourself in a position so that you can be somewhat okay a few steps ahead. And I say a few steps ahead because we're supposed to live in the moment, but we're supposed to be wise about the future. You can't just live in the moment and ignore the future and forget about the past. You can't. No one can tell me that you can. We have to figure out how to be in the moment, thinking about preparing for our future wisely, and remember where we came from in the past so that we don't repeat past mistakes and don't carry them into the future. And in the moment, figure out how to make sure we perfect things so that when we take a footstep forward, we're making the right move forward, right? Not making any bad decisions, especially when they can be avoided. If they can't be avoided, then they just can't be avoided. But if they can be, then it would probably be a good idea that we figure out how to continue not making the same mistakes that we made. Because truth be told, I feel that we're still making the same mistakes. And we're not making enough more healthier decisions. At least globally, guys, not individually, because there's some really people out there really putting their foot to the pavement and really trying to bring about change. And we need to rally around those people, sit at their conference table, come on their shows, and get involved in the conversation. And then when we get to the voting polls, we know what we're voting for. We're not just pushing buttons. We're not just picking a name. Because those people are making decisions for you, me, and all the rest, our seniors to our children. And we need to not let that just happen. So I am hoping that this show was not offensive to you, and if it was offensive, that was not my intention. But I'm not going to apologize for being honest about what I see, what I am looking for, what I'm hoping for. And I'm hoping that you would do the same. And remember, I've always said we can agree to disagree, is how we go about it. I always create a space to welcome you to have a seat at this table, because if you have a seat at this table, your voice matters. It matters. No ifs and buts about it. It matters. And if we disagree, we can find the common ground to where we can agree and then get the overall answer to what we're both looking for. I welcome it. That's what, being an open-minded individual who is unselfish and believe that it's more than just me. Let's do it, guys. Let's have a conversation. If you are watching this show or will watch this show, please don't forget that it's so important that we get involved in the conversation. And first, you can start here by making sure that you are subscribed to this channel. And as always, please, 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 people, I keep telling people, I don't know you're here unless you're here. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel and clicking the YouTube notification bell. If you click the notification bell and you are getting involved in the conversation, then when this show goes live or I upload a show, you'll get the notification that, guess what, I'm in the building and I need you to be a part of this conversation. I need you to be a part. I can't do it by myself. I can't wait till we get to a safe space where people can come into the studio and sit with me and have this roundtable discussion, right? Also, I don't have to wait for that, because if you are subscribed or not subscribed, and I hope you will consider subscribing, please do me a favor. I don't know you're here unless you drop a comment. It is important you share your voice through a comment. You can give this show a very well-deserved, I believe deserved, thumbs up. You can give me a thumbs up. It won't hurt. Give a thumbs up. Or you can give a thumbs down if that's your prerogative. You know what I'm saying. This mouth is very much tired. Hold on. I'm just thinking. And I'm smiling because I jacked that word up like severe. And I cannot stop smiling because I'm saying it in my head, but I feel like I'm so tongue-tied. But you guys get it, so I'm not going to try to be perfect with it. So it's your right, my right. We can sit here and agree and have this conversation and agree to disagree. But you also can give a thumbs up showing that you were here and you support what I was talking about and you get it and you're willing to get it and you're willing to have the conversation. And know that if you're not posting a comment, then I can't tell you are here. You can give me the thumbs up. Love it. I need it. Please do that. But also comment that you gave a thumbs up and you like what was said, or say what you like or you didn't like and give it a thumbs down if that's what you want to do. Just get involved. And please do me a favor and share this platform. It's important that you share the platform on your social media. So we are always on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, right? Don't forget, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Under the same name, Voices Gathering Live. Make sure you follow me on all those platforms. And please share this show. All you got to do right there where the thumbs up and thumbs down is, if you look right over to the right of it, there's a share button. Share it, click it. Prerogative. Thank you. I know. I am laughing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Thank you. So yes. Please share it to all of your social medias. It doesn't hurt. Especially if you're going to give me a thumbs up and comment, then share it, because some of your peers friends, family members may see the same thing and say, oh, I agree. Remember, I told you we're not in this alone. We're in it collectively. So if we're in it collectively, then that is how we get people involved. There is more people than just us, right? So you can share this show. And this show is always trying to create an open forum. And that is what the comments are for. So that you can have that space to share your views and opinions. This show is going to make some moves. It's going to do what it's supposed to do. So maybe you see a 2 or 3 likes, maybe you see 10 to 12 likes, maybe you see 40 views, maybe you see 3 views. But if I use my platform and I'm getting embracing this more and more and more. It used to be about the numbers. I need the numbers. And that's true. Without numbers, you're not making that viral impact. But I'm not okay with making a viral impact on buffoonery. I'm not willing to do that. No, I'm definitely not willing to do that. I want to go viral because people believe in what I'm saying. They believe in my passion and my fire to speak my truth. They believe in my passion and desire to have a conversation with you and get involved in change. Let's go viral for that. I don't want to go viral because I'm wearing a thong. Although I would go viral for that. Little humor there. No, I don't want to do that. I want to go viral. I want to have impact if it's not even viral. If we can get 100 likes on this show and 100 individual comments on this show, we've made impact. So I'm going to be okay starting off where I'm at. I'm not going to run my voice gathering live podcast show next to the other person. I'm not going to do that. I want everyone in their own space to be successful at what they're doing, but my focus is this platform and being about change. So please don't forget, like, comment, be a subscriber, and get involved in the conversation. That's how we do it. That is how we do it. I thank you so much for all of you who are going to like me, share me, and subscribe to me. I thank you so much for being a part of this show. And remember, it takes more than one voice to have an impact. So get involved. Thank you so much. And until next time, I will see you then. Be good to one another. And I hope this conversation was good to you. Until next time, bye guys. Be well.